are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a low blog talk radio.
So welcome to another episode of Italo Blog Talk Radio. This is Italo speaking. For those that don't know me well, you know that my name is not Italo, but by now everybody knows Italo's Blog Talk Radio, and that's the brand. However, my name is Victor, and I'm excited because I'm talking to Marcel today. He's where are you located again?
I'm in Tampa, Florida.
From Tampa, Florida. Okay. So Marcel, welcome to the show. I've been following you for a couple months, I guess, or probably. Yeah. But the question of the day, as you might know, is what happened to the girl from Australia?
Oh, let me tell you, it's quite a story. You know, it's funny how things work when you're working on yourself. And there was during a time where I was feeling my most in tune. I was in alignment with myself and just understanding more about the self-love journey. And I had a girl on my Instagram account who was following me, and one day she liked all of my posts. And so I sent her a message saying, I appreciate you, which that turned into a constant back and forth. And she was love bombing me at the time. She was telling me everything I wanted to hear. And let me tell you, because I'm working on myself and on this journey that I'm on, I'm not used to hearing things like that. You know, growing up, you know, I have abandonment issues. And so hearing words of affirmation was not something I was used to. So for her to tell me that, it was just, I was caught off guard, but she started, what's the word I want to use? She was able to relate to everything I was saying. So it's almost like
mirroring,
yes. The love bombing and the mirroring. And she would tell me things like, I've had dreams about you before I've met you. I couldn't wait to see you. And she said she had dreamed of me 15 years before this date. And I was like, at the time I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy, but I'm rolling with it because I had never heard anyone tell me this. She thought it was meant to be. And it was just a drawn out process. First day, we were inseparable talking. She lived in Adelaide, Australia, by the way. And every day just got more and more intense. We would talk on the video chat every day. We'd go to sleep together on the video chat. We'd wake up together. I worked overnight at the time at a hotel, so I had the same schedule with her. And I decided to prove that I was real. And so the next month, that's how fast this was. So you're talking July, we start talking, and it's full on in July. August, I booked the trip to go to meet her. And I tell her by surprise that I booked the ticket. I booked the trip. Yeah. I bought the ticket. And she instantly changed. It was almost like the excitement went away. I think with narcissists in general, they love the chase and they love the feeling of the high. But then once they catch it, it's like an instant down effect. And it was just that. Things started changing from there. It went from me being everything she was about to, you know, her sister being jealous of our time. So her sister wanted her time and their friends. And then all of a sudden she had these male friends that came out of nowhere. And now, don't get me wrong, if you have male friends, that's okay. But if they're coming out of left field, I'm going to question it. So when I would question it, she would say things like, oh, we have our mates, but we don't, as partners, you don't talk about them. You know, if I'm with my mates, you don't call me. Started saying things like that, putting me on schedules that I didn't understand. She didn't want to showcase it. Like for instance, she didn't want to say she was in a relationship on social media, which to an extent I understand. But if I'm coming all this way, I want to know that I'm coming there for a reason, and I'm the one for you. And she kept it a secret, and it just didn't feel right with me. And so eventually, one day she was hanging out with one of her guy friends. It was her sister and a guy friend, and her and a guy friend. They were both hanging out together. And I called her out on it for something. I don't really remember exactly why, but something in my gut made me feel awe, made me feel like I needed to question her. And so I questioned her, and she got upset. And as she got upset, I started questioning that emotion. And she was very protective over this guy throughout that month. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to message him to see what's going on. And I, at that time, I'll be honest with you, because, I'm all about accountability here. At that time, I was feeling emotions of jealousy. I was feeling emotions of, I was feeling jealous. I was feeling insecure, and I felt like I wasn't worth it. And I felt like an idiot for booking a trip to meet this girl. And so when I told her I would message him, she started crying. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, I messaged him because I took that as a sign.
Let me just interrupt you right now.
Sure.
Let me just say, there were so many red flags, and we're not even done with the story, but keep going. But I'm just going like red flag. But
Oh, it's red flag, constantly red flag. And to her point too, red flags on my end, because I should have been more aware and more patient, right? So, but so I called her out. So when I told the guy, I messaged him, and then I told her I messaged him, and then she said, "You know what? It's over." And this was 5 days before the trip. She said, "You know what? It's over." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's over? I'm coming there in 5 days." She goes, "I don't want to be with you. I don't want to meet you. Cancel the trip." I told her, "Look, we cannot cancel this trip. It's 5 days. How am I going to cancel? It's done. It's paid for."
Right.
She said, "I don't know what you're going to do, but you're not meeting me." And I said, "Listen, if I'm not going to meet you, then you're going to at least pay for half the room still," because that was the plan. She was going to pay for half the room. "You're going to at least pay for half the room still, and then do what you do. But I would love to meet you. I would love to make this work." She ended up paying for half the room, and she blocked me. So I had 4 days because after that day, that was I had 5 days while talking to her. After that day, I had 4 days of figuring out what the heck I'm going to do before I go to Australia. So that's just the first part of it. I mean, it's a whole, you know what I mean? It's a whole experience. That was the last I heard of her. Haven't heard from her since.
Yeah. But so, and then you went on TikTok to tell the story, and you've taken a longer time to explain it. Right now, I haven't heard this many details about the story, right? But what did you conclude from this interaction with her?
I concluded that she was a narcissist. I concluded that she was a narcissist, that she wasn't as serious as I was serious about it. That was with this girl. So the TikTok video I did was about an experience with the girl that I was talking to on Tinder. So it all that leads up to this, you know what I mean? And it really, I understood that I needed to forgive her before I went to Australia, but I instantly got from that she wasn't as serious as I was for her to throw it away just as quick, you know, and not just to have that behavior pattern. Because I'm always of the firm belief. I'm a firm believer that narcissists aren't people. It's a behavior pattern. You know,
say that again. Sorry, say that again.
Narcissists, they aren't people. A person is not a narcissist. It's their behavior pattern.
Okay.
It's a disorder.
It's like saying you're suffer from depression,
Yes.
But it doesn't define who you are. It just means that you're having a meltdown or a mental health issue, but it doesn't define you. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in their mind it cut off that their capability of loving is no longer there. Although they are capable of loving, they have it so closed off in their mind because of some traumatic experience that they only know to project. They know to mirror and project.
Mm.
As for empaths, they work through their traumas.
Yeah.
Narcissists project their traumas.
Mhm.
And that's why they attract empaths. That's because an empath will give them everything they need to keep their story alive. And their story is, this is how I was hurt, and now I need to protect that hurt.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, yeah, and we were talking yesterday about it. As you always get this question come up. Apparently, that video went viral on TikTok, so everybody comes to your lives already curious about the story. So that's why I wanted to do this, to get it over with, and just
I
set
love
the
it.
record straight.
Yeah. So about the girl that I was talking to, I was talking to her on Tinder, and I told her the story. So after the first day I was alone in Australia, and I ended up enjoying the town and everything. But then I'll be honest with you, I got a little lonely. I wanted to talk to somebody. I wanted to meet somebody. And so I went on Tinder and talking to this girl, and I told her the story. And that's when she decided, she said, we have to meet. And so we met at the cafe shop, and she said, look, we're not doing anything. I'm here to deliver a message with you, and that's it. And that's what the story is about on TikTok, is that people want to know
I
about.
understand. Okay. Yeah, because he was, not thank you for clarifying that, because I thought the girl, the first girl, was the one that told you that message, and that now understanding that the Tinder girl was the one that came to you to tell you she's gonna. That's interesting. The one that you thought you were gonna hook up with, right?
Mhm.
I mean, let's be real. If I'm not sure if that was your intention, but was that your intention?
My intention was to meet somebody,
Okay.
not necessarily hook up, because I'm not into hooking up right away.
Okay.
You know, it's all about protecting that energy. But I did
Right.
want to meet someone to converse with and to talk to while I was there, because
Yeah.
you got to remember, I'm from America, and you know the time difference is 14-hour. It was, at the time, it was a 14-hour time difference. So my friends are not available. My family's not available. It's just me in this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Okay. So the message was basically,
You need to recognize your worth, because you don't value yourself. You don't, for you to come all this way to fall in love, you do not value yourself, and you need to recognize the worthiness within you. And she read me these affirmations she got from the Louise Hay book.
yeah,
Heal your life, right? Is it called Heal Your Life?
you can heal your life.
You can heal your life. Yes, that's the affirmation she read off of. I still have the paper somewhere in my home that she gave me.
Well, that particular audiobook, I was telling this story before too. You have to listen to the audiobook for 30 days straight. Like, you don't want to skip it, because your mind has to process what she's saying. And she says it very, very clear, very clear. But when you have cognitive dissonance, and you have, let's just say that your narcissist mind cannot comprehend what she's saying, right? So you have to let go of all those, unlearn those thoughts that you had in the past, in order for her to enter your psyche. It's like rearranging your thoughts, is basically what it is. And 30 days later, I think I listened to the whole thing for a year, entire year, because I didn't get it. I couldn't get it. because I was in a toxic relationship, and I wasn't understanding that not letting that go was stopping me from accepting that new concept. So that's another thing. And like you said, with empaths, because I have empathic traits too, just as well as narcissistic traits. So let me just say that I have both. I'm a Libra too.
Can I
So
interrupt?
there's like yin yang. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt real quick, interject. What you just said is powerful. And it's something that more people need to understand. And it's not just you that has the empathic traits, the narcissistic traits. It's all of us. And the one thing that I wish that TikTok talked more about, like the people, the doctors that talk more about, is they talk about the duality aspect of it. They pin it as a narcissist is a person, but we all have it. We all have a narcissistic tendency, and we all have an empathic tendency, and that's where we got to understand. There's this sensationalized thing that these coaches are doing that's making it seem like, oh, this is a narcissist. If they do this, it's a narcissist. Do they do that, it's a narcissist. You know what I mean? And it starts to feel like, and I'm not talking about all of them, but it starts to feel like they're looking for clientele, and they're preying, ironically, on the weak-minded individuals. So they're saying, hey, this is what a narcissist is. And then you got a person that's in their thoughts like, you know what, I can relate to that. So yeah, I'm with the narcissist, but in all reality, we all, like you said, and you mentioned that in the chat too, and I was like, yeah, and nobody caught on, and it's because everybody thinks that a narcissist is just one way, and you got to hold yourself accountable too. So I appreciate you saying that. My apologies.
And I was called a narcissist on more than one occasion by different people, and it was a trigger for me because I didn't think I was an abusive person. Yet I abused this person psychologically, mentally. You know what I'm saying? So I became the abuser. Not physical abuse. I don't believe in physical abuse, but more like a psychological abuse. Or the lying and the cheating and the secrecy and not sharing myself, not sharing my truth, So that also became another form of manipulation that he caught on. And he's like, you know what? I know that you're not a narcissist, but you have narcissistic traits, and you learn them from your parents, and you learn them from your family, and you learn it from your friends, and you learn it from, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a learned skill, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're constantly learning, constantly healing too from it.
And so it's hard to shake it off. It's hard because even my dad today was like, and I don't consider him a narcissist either. My father said, in order for him to get a doctor's appointment, he tells me, you have to be tough. You have to give him the, ultimatum first. Make him scared of you. That's what he said.
Mm.
And then be nice. And I'm like, okay.
No.
You know what? This is where I learned it from. That's where I learned this from, because I saw this guy, my father, doing that. And I'm like, you know what? That's where I learned it from. And today I didn't say anything, because you don't want to tell a narcissist you're a narcissist. Yeah, and I'm like, that's very narcissistic right there. Mm-hmm. And that's another piece of the puzzle that I'm, in my head.
It's a piece of the puzzle. But you know what, though? The moment, and that's where accountability comes in, because when you become accountable for your actions and your ability and why you're thinking a certain way, you then transcend that thought. And you see, wait a minute, here I am. I'm actually having narcissistic qualities in this moment. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people don't see it because they're too into they're too into the capsule of the next moment, and they're not here. They're not present, or they're
Right.
too into of the past moment. They're not present. So there's this idea of who they think they are, and they don't want to transcend from the old story. And God forbid you tell them that they're a narcissist. You tell them exactly who they are, you're going to trigger them. It's
that's a no.
Truth,
That's a big ass no. You don't tell a narcissist you're a narcissist, because it would always only get worse from there.
Does because they don't want to hear the truth about themselves. Nobody does.
Nobody
if they don't hold themselves accountable, nobody does.
Yeah. I didn't want to hear it. When I heard it, there's always that time, there's always that moment you're like in denial for a while, and the denial can last for a long time. So once you get past the denial part and you accept it, and then you apologize and you say, I'm sorry for what I just did. Is this, I cheated on you, or I lied to you. I am sorry for doing that. And take the responsibility to say, I am not going to do this again. If I do this again, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, make me accountable if I do this again. Like, and it can be not as extreme as cheating, but if I call your name, or if I make you feel like you're not worthy, or if I say, oh, your feelings don't really matter, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can be little things too, and and it's just unlearning those things.
Well, that takes time, but they got everybody unlearns they uncondition themselves. They unlearn those conditions in their own time, and that's something that we have no control over as well. So it's like the girl in Australia. Well, she's gonna unlearn her patterns one day, and I pray she does, and I hope she finds an amazing man or woman that's gonna make her happy. And until then, I wish her nothing but peace and love, and I wish her to be gentle on her journey. But I have no part of her journey. Her journey has no power over me. And you know what? She's gonna learn it on her own. That's not my responsibility to hold that to her.
Yeah, right. Which is a healthy way to do it. Is that you don't want to hang on to the poison, like there's that resentment, the anger, that's poisonous. And I realized that too. Like I held on for dear life to that resentment towards my father until I learned the truth, and I learned this truth recently. And I had to just open my mind to listen, because I wasn't listening to understand. I was just listening to respond in the past. And so whenever he would say something, it would trigger me, and I would be like, you're not going to talk to me like that, or you're not going to say this. Like I was denying it before he can even finish the sentence. And so it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. But if you're willing to do the work, all it takes is one step, right? You're one step towards, where you want to go. But if you're not willing to work, and you're going to keep repeating the same cycle. If you're not willing to hold yourself accountable, you're going to keep attracting the same situations, different person, over and over and over and over again until you learn the lesson. That's where that beautiful quote that comes in that I always love reading on the lives is that the universe, it goes, if you continue to avoid loving yourself, the universe will continue to send people who will avoid loving you, hoping you get a clue. So you got to fix those things within yourself. Yeah. And then once you do that, that's when it starts to take place.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane, but I had to repeat my mistake. Anyways, I won't go into details because I tend to reveal so much in my podcast, and then I'm like, who's gonna listen to this podcast? And so all I'm gonna say is that I've been hurt by so many people, and I've hurt so many people in my life, right? one day I was going through a body count, and I don't know if you understand what I mean by body count, and I'm talking about sexual encounters.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got to the 30s, I was like, oh wow, like it started very slow, and then all of a sudden it jumped to like 20s,
Wow.
and then all of a sudden it jumped into the 30s, and then I couldn't stop. I'm like, what have you done? To how many people have you touched in the way, you know what I'm saying, like hurt them or treat them like they're treat them like they're less than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Miss,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. Abuse them, basically. Abuse, take advantage of them, right?
Right.
And now that I'm single, I'm like, I had to take time to heal all these wounds that I have, and I still have them. Resentment and all this. I don't know. There's a lot of resentment going on.
As you're talking, though, you're healing.
Yeah.
That in this moment, as you're expressing it, you're walking through it and you're healing. You're sitting through those emotions, right? You're not. Listen, whether you've hurt someone or they hurt you, you know, how they feel is their story. How you feel is your story. The only thing you can focus on is moving through how you feel, and understand that whether they forgive you or not, we can't control that.
Yeah.
We can only control how we react. We can only control how we learn, and we can only control how we grow.
Right.
You know,
because
and so,
another thing that really helped me was to write down an apology, right, to whoever I hurt. Not with the intention of sending the letter, just to basically get it out of my system. Once I write it out, it's out of my system, because that's the way my mind works that way. I don't know. You write poetry too, so I don't, or journal. So I don't know if that is your process, or how do you release your negative
well, I used to
thoughts
write poetry.
out?
I was writing poetry since I was 10, and I stopped at 28, 33 now. So now I just sit with the emotion. I let myself feel the totality of how whatever it is I'm going through. I need to feel it, and I need to feel it all the way through. I've thought about getting back into writing, but you know, music and poetry is how I used to cope with it, for sure.
Right. What made you stop, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a whole other story within itself. I mean, if you don't mind me talking about it, we can.
Go for it. Well,
So,
give me a second. We got 7 minutes, so, but I'll tell you what, if you, yeah. Anyways, I'll give you a sign, but just keep going, and I'll let you know when it's almost over. But go for it.
okay, so I was in a group with of guys, and you know, we were making music and whatnot, and my music's always my poetry, and was working on an album, and the album was called The Blue Tape, Bringing Love Unto Everyone tape, which is on YouTube, but I don't promote it. And the guys that I was working with, they weren't really into the project, and that bothered me, because I was always making them the source of my happiness, and not making me the source of my happiness. Well, also another part of my life journey is I made a promise to a guy named Jordan, who I met when I was 18, that he was going to be on my album when I released it. So the album was done, and I had the parts where I'm singing on it was for Jordan to get on. Well, once I found out, once it was done, I tried to find him, couldn't find him anywhere. I ended up looking up his name in Google, and the word obituary popped up, and he killed himself. And
What?
I was sat through those emotions. I cried. I didn't understand, but I didn't want to move forward with the music anymore. Just didn't want to move forward with it. He'd always tell me, see the world, see the world. So I stopped hanging around with those guys. My best friend was part of that group, but I still talk to him because it's more than music for us. I've known my best friend since I was 4, but the rest of the guys, I only keep in touch with maybe one of them, which is Tim. He's on the album too, but the other guys, I really don't talk to them as much because they didn't appreciate the time that I gave them. And so instead of spending time with them and my money hanging out with them, I just turned that into traveling. And because Jordan wanted me to see the world, I just started traveling. And so I rediscovered myself, and I rediscovered a love and a passion. And I realized that music wasn't for me, in that through my writing, although it was helping me release, I was also living my best friend's dream. I wasn't living my dream. And so I stopped altogether because I needed to reconnect with what I value and what I love.
That was record time then. Like you said, in less than 3 minutes. But listen, we can either take a break and do another part 2 right now, because I need to hear your poetry. I haven't heard your poetry yet.
We can do part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2, but give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Gosh, that's swell.
And I'm recording now because I want to hear this.
You want to hear it? Well, but let me tell you first. Maybe you were put on that path for him to experience pain. It's for him to grow, and that's and it sounds crazy sometimes to think of it like that, but in life, you need to have these lessons, and you need someone to teach you the lesson. And if he went through not experiencing pain, and he met you, and it wasn't like you consciously gave him pain. It's just it's mainly a traumatic response. Yeah. It's something that he needed to understand as part of his story to grow. Just like I was in a relationship with a woman, with a girl. I was 16 at the time. We were both 16. Parents were racist, and they didn't like me because of that. I'm half black, and so they forced her to get an abortion. They put a restraining order on me and forced her to have an abortion. Well, I needed that lesson in my life for me to overcome certain areas that I needed to overcome. Not necessarily saying that needed to happen, because I don't wish it on anyone. I still to this day feel I can hear the scream echoing in my mind. But I needed to understand that pain, and I also needed to understand that type of hatred in order for me to grow.
Yeah.
So
that's deep. That's very deep.
Yeah.
But without further ado, because I don't want to take much more of your time, but I like to hear your poetry, because your poetry is like, and you memorize them, which is something I struggle with memorization. So when you memorize them, it's like power.
Yeah, it's time to turn the page. Things won't be the same. Maybe leaving's for the best. Our lesson was for us to change. Maybe I was on your quest to help you get through all your pain. Maybe our water ran dry because high tides never remain. I keep on thinking what went wrong, but we're just going separate ways. Love never dies, it grows, so I hope your life is great. And I hope you accomplish all your goals, but I must focus on my dreams. Maybe we will meet again, but now it's time for us to leave. Meet new people, see new things, create the life we want to live, but first we must cut off our streets. Because memory lane, it ain't too far, but history loves to repeat. So instead of going down that road, I'm taking unfamiliar streets to find my peace. I'll never know how life unfolds if I do not continue to read. Maybe the unknown is where we're meant to grow, to blossom free. For every goodbye, there's a new hello. Life's filled with meet and greets. Like the sun, I set on old ways and rise to new beliefs. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. What was the title of that one? Or do you have
that was called
titles?
Goodbye. That was called Goodbye. There's a hook that goes after that. That was a song, and
Okay.
there's a hook to that, and so it goes, maybe like the sun I'll set on old ways and rise to new beliefs. If somebody is gonna say goodbye, I will be that guy, and hopefully it's for the last time. Because once I let you go, I'm moving forward, no rewinds. Once I let you go, I'm moving forward, no rewinds. And yeah, I'm sorry that it has to be this way, but I can't build for tomorrow if I'm stuck in yesterday. So I hope your life is well, and I hope that you stay blessed. But I have to let you go. This goodbye is for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. That speaks to me right now. It's like
Good,
yeah.
good. And if you
So you
goodbyes,
have this on YouTube, or where do you have this music?
I have it on YouTube, and I also have it on SoundCloud. But it's not like nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? I don't really promote my music because it's an old story of me, right? But I have tons. If you want me to keep going, I can keep going. But
Yeah. Well, before you do that, is like, why don't you want this whole story to be told again, or is there a reason why you don't want to promote it as much?
Aside from the experience, right? I was in an area. I was in a place in my life where I wasn't supported on this project. There's 5 of us in the group. I was the only one that would express the music online. I was the only one that would speak it, and I was the only one rapping to people online. So I didn't feel that energy. And the guy that is in the song with me, he's a good friend of mine. We're really good friends. However, it's not his style to go on camera to rap. And so I didn't feel supported in that space. Also, that what you heard, the singing part, that was for Jordan to sing. And so it just doesn't resonate with me to share. I don't feel right sharing my music without Jordan on it.
I get it. I understand. I have some poetry that is like that is, and yeah, I understand your old self, like that. That's not you. That's not how you feel anymore.
Right.
So it will feel wrong for you to do it because you're not feeling the same way, and you don't want to promote that anymore because you're done with that, right? I think that's
yes, because what happens if it takes off? If it takes off, then I got to keep reliving through these moments.
right.
And
hey, but I want to hear more. So if you have
all right.
more.
So if you know me, my heart is so big it can't be described. My love is so real and it cannot be defined. I hover over lives like clouds in the sky, and I shower raindrops of wisdom inside your mind. You must follow God's plan. It cannot be revised. Show character, speak the truth, never tell a lie. If you want to see a real man, observe him when he cries. True men show emotion, feel the vibe. Now you can cut that tension with a knife, and you can see the spirit work a disguise, making darkness turn bright. In the darkest of the night, allow my star to be the guide. I'm God's typist. My soul is the projection for your sight. The illusion of your life is the circus of your mind. You see, love is only real when you can worship the divine. Whether a plus or a minus, we all equal one life. We live, we die, and in between is the priority to survive. With compassion, we ignite the flame of love and light, universal soul connecting you and I. And just like the caterpillar thought the end of the world was on its way, it didn't realize that it was about to become the birth of a butterfly. Beautiful angel, so lost in this world of sin, searching for forgiveness in this twisted world we're in. We all struggle to get rich while forgetting happiness. We're on this path of destruction, surrounded by activists. A peaceful world, could you imagine it? Canned good attitudes only to be hidden in cabinets because we're so worried about our image and fashion trend. Net worth over self-worth, and the fall begins, controlled by our doubts. Can't see through the fog, can't speak through the wind, forgetting what life is about. How can we get in tune with our roots if we can't see past the ground? It's time to look at ourselves. To be free, we must sprout. Lay that whole foundation down for change to go viral, spreading love all around. I'm just a man with a thought and a dream, and a flame torch to light up my dark reality. Open up your eyes to a life filled with peace. Universal soul bringing awareness to our blind humanity. And still to this day, just like the caterpillar thought the end of the world was in the cocoon, it didn't realize it was about to experience the birth of a butterfly, and we can make the darkness bright. So I'm lost, lonely, hopeless, and cold, misunderstood by those who don't care to know. People play sickness, congesting my flow, repressing my emotions. I never let it show. So I escape into a world that lets me roam. Poetic thoughts make me feel well at home. A wireless soul in a hot spot on my own. I black out and see the depths of the unknown. But it's through the hardest concrete with faith, a rose will always grow. The attachment of pain is self-imposed. We blame it on our foes, creating new excuses for our woes, unaware of the meaning that we give it. That's the reason that we live in all this restraint and submission, boundaries and limits. The illusion of our pain is non-existent. We are just a burden of conditions. Open your eyes and lighten your mind to forgiveness and watch love rise like the sun and shine on your repentance. And to this day, what the caterpillar thought was the end of the world was only the birth of a butterfly. So you and I can make the darkness bright.
Wow. I got so much out of that. But you know what? I'm gonna get more out of the editing process. I can already see myself editing this video. I'm in the future. I'm already in the future.
Let's get back into this moment. Get out of your head and get into this moment.
Yeah, it's like I'm enjoying this editing process. I don't even know. I haven't even started doing it, but
Awesome.
This is actually a. And then for whoever's listening, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify or whatever podcast, I'm gonna put all your links below if you have any more poetry, if you have any more material that you want. I know you don't want to promote it, but I love to hear more, or I think my audience would like to hear more as well.
All right, I can get again.
It tells your story. It tells your, you know what I mean? Like it tells, even though you don't feel like that person anymore, you can feel yourself coming out of that cocoon. As you were talking about the butterfly coming out, and I see the butterfly right now. I see the wings and I see you, right? I see how you're blossoming and you're no longer a caterpillar.
Right.
So,
I appreciate that. Thank you. And if we have more time, I can go. If they want to hear more, I can go more.
We can do one more. Sure.
All right. I'm lost within these movements and I'm trapped within my mind. I feel caged in and this rage is at its boiling line. I can't think straight. I'm still leaving late, working in my 9 to 5, searching for my purpose, but nothing feels aligned. I'm steady searching for signs, but all I get is wasted time in a grand design that's built by lies, stigmas materialized. We fear for our lives, searching for peace, but peace is inside. But we're trained by the eye to love what is wrong and to hate what is right. We've created this type of plight. So my hands are in my jacket and my face is to the cold, thinking about life in the presence of the soul, hoping for the right seeds to plant and grow. Anything before the now, you have to let it all go. One-way vision like I'm looking through a scope, got faith, got hope, now must watch it unfold. A poor man's dream into a rich man's mold, throw your heart over the bar, watch your body follow. Do you really want to know where you go? When time says no, you head back home, but home is unknown. Don't think so hard, just live life and grow. Appreciate the now while time unfolds. With love and compassion, understand your role. Give it all you got. Never quit, never fold, never stress or depress what you can't control. Just trust yourself and go with this flow. I'm an old soul, well beyond my years. With the things I don't know, I've learned from my peers. I dive into the books to see the world so clear. I meditate daily for strength over my fears. I love so blind. We're all the same, far and near. A reflection of ourselves is like looking in the mirror, soul searching for a purpose. Beyond a labeled career, it's when life ain't what it seems. It's when the illusion appears.
All right. Ooh. Oh man. Hold on a second. Something happened. Sorry, the alarm went off.
All right. I'm taking up. I don't want to take up all your time, though, my friend.
That's okay. That's all right. But yeah, It's been a really really good session today. I appreciate your time. I do have another thing happening in a few minutes, so but I will say that this is not. Hopefully, that's not the last time that we are having this interaction. Um, yeah, I'm just getting so much out of this. It's like it's really cool. So just want to share. And then don't start doing your poetry again. This is what you were meant to do. Like I think I don't know. I'm just saying.
You know, we could do one day is on one of my lives or one of your lives, we could do a join live and do a poetry session or have
Yeah.
a thing every other night, every one day of the week, we have an open mic.
There you go. Yeah, I used to host an open mic here in LA. Well, actually, two open mics, and it was really good. It was really a good experience. Um, I faced my fears of, you know, in public speaking, getting comfortable and trusting my own words because I didn't believe I had a voice.
Yeah, because you do have a voice. Your poetry is really good too now.
Yeah. I just have to memorize it. So whenever we're ready, I have to like spend a whole day just to memorize it again.
And well, the memorization is just because of the music. You know, you have to memorize your music when you're in the studio. So it's kind of like practice. Practice. That was what I lived. You know, I lived it.
Right. Well, I have another way to memorize it too. Like I have to listen to it over and over. That's the only way I can do it. But there's also intonations, and there's also the rhythm, the ebbs and flows of the poetry. I already know what's coming up. Sometimes I already know the intonation. Like for me, it's all about rhythm. It's I can explain it because you already know what I mean, but it's the way. Even if there's no music behind it, there's still music in your voice, right? There's still an intonation to your voice, and you can hear music even in your voice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I learned from one time I went to a concert. It was a Marvin Gaye tribute with John Legend, and there were poets going on in between the songs, and they were doing spoken word, and everything to me was like poetry from beginning to end. I mean, you had what's going on to start, and then you had the other songs, but then you had the poetry in between. Everything was music to me. I was like, this is me.
Nice.
music to my ears, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I know what you mean. It's beautiful experience, especially those creators.
And I was getting contact high because everybody was getting high in Hollywood Bowl, and I was like, yes.
No, it's right because it's legal out there, right?
I don't think it was legal back then, but yeah, it's legal now. But no, not in a concert. Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't control it in a concert. You know, whatever. It's like no holds barred in a concert.
Yeah, a concert is supposed to be, as long as it's not.
A concert in my life, and it was classical, so I don't even know how that was like, that experience you had.
It was an experience. It was a memorable experience. It was good. Yeah. But anyhow, Marcel, for those that want to listen, follow you, what is your handle on TikTok and Insta or whatever?
Yeah, my handle on TikTok is Gratitude POV. Gratitude POV. So, obviously the POV is point of view. And then Instagram, it's Conscious Flow State. All one word, Conscious Flow State.
Okay. And then you usually go live. I don't know if you have a set schedule, or do you have any?
I don't have a set schedule. I just go from the feeling of I just go by the feeling. Usually after I post something, I'll go live. I'm starting to think about doing a set schedule. And if I do, it'd be between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday at 1, 5, and 9 Eastern time.
Okay. All right. And if you cannot follow any of that, I'm gonna put the links below. I'm gonna put the information so you can just go ahead and click it. But listen, Marcel, it was great. It was a great
Appreciate it.
show, I think.
I'm honored that you
And-
gave me the opportunity.
And I welcome you back whenever you have another chance to come in. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. For those that are listening, don't forget to click subscribe, follow, share, the whole 9 yards. And I'll see you guys soon.
You guys have a thank you.
Your go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit it.